Welcome to the last month of the year 2023. 又到了一年的最后一个月，我相信很多人心中多了一些焦虑。这一年到底完成了什么？明年又应该准备什么呢？在这个月，我们将会跟大家一起探索工作跟生活当中所需要的重整以及重新的技巧。Let's review and renew.Hello， 欢迎来到 Executive Plus 主管与沟通力的 Podcast. I'm Sherry, an educator, certified coach, and style enthusiast. 我相信专业有效的沟通是语言跟逻辑的完美结合。
And I'm Nick, a startup consultant, corporate trainer, and late-night gaming junkie. I believe great communication requires the right mindset and solid frameworks.
我们希望带给大家职场英语的技能、跨文化沟通技巧与其他能帮助您成为出色领导者的工具。
Join us each week as we share our experience, research, and methodologies to take your communication and language skills from good to great. Hey everybody, we've just crossed that threshold into December. And aside from all department stores blasting Christmas music, it's also a time to start wrapping up the year and thinking about our plans for next year. So to end December, we wanted to build a theme of review and renew, looking at all the different things that you would handle as a manager in performance review and even getting feedback from your team and planning into next year.
That's right. I'm sure a lot of you guys just absolutely love performance review. I think it's bittersweet. Sometimes, obviously you kind of look forward to this because you have accomplished a lot. But at times, getting feedbacks that are not incredibly positive can be a little bit stressful. So 在这个月我们希望透过不同的单元，不管是在 EP 也好，或者是我们的 EP Insights， 也希望带给大家一些提示，一些inspiration 或者一些技巧，让大家更好的 navigate 在接收这个 performance review or even to actually execute the performance review.Throughout
the month, we're going to cover different things about feedback, both giving and receiving. And we'll be actually revisiting a lot of the resources that we've talked about throughout the year because we have themed quite a few months on what does it take to be a manager? What does it take to lead? What kind of thoughts are out there from different writers, authors, managers, people with experience? What are they thinking? And then intermixing that with our own experiences and how we're handling things. Because for us, this is a lot of our own growth process almost happening in public, where we're looking at what are the best practices we want to incorporate and then looking back at how they went.
Exactly. 所以在这个月呢，我们总共会 cover 了这些主题，大概就是 running performance review, getting feedbacks, how do you respond to feedbacks, whether it's good or bad, how do you propose a new budget proposal, and how do you set new goals with your team for the new year.
So one major thing that people have already started preparing for or definitely getting ready for is that next year's budget proposal, right? Maybe you got a budget from the company, maybe there's a budget that you want to present, but the budget proposal itself is actually an important time for using persuasive presentation. A place where most people would just report, this is what I want to do, this is how I'm going to use money. They forget that this is almost a sales pitch where you need to pitch and justify your budget and get someone excited about giving you money as opposed to just requesting it and them going, why? Why do you need all that? What are you doing with it? That's too much.
Exactly. And I think for a lot of managers, this is a bit painful at times because again, you're requesting for something, maybe your budget is a lot more next year. Like for example, for us, in our actual job, 我们也正好正在做这个的 budget proposal. 那正好我们的 budget 可能就是比去年还要再多更多。但这样的情况之下呢，当然 it means that you're doing well because you need more. But also, you do have to be very specific to why do you need these resources.
So whether you're doing the presenting or people are presenting to you, it's important to treat this with that acronym we talked about last month, WIFI. What's in it for you? Meaning is if someone is presenting a budget, your first question would be like, why do I want to give you all this money? Or why is this the best use of our resources? If the person is not explaining how it's beneficial to your department, your team, or your company, and is very specific as to why this is a good use of resources, why you should be excited about spending this budget, then it just sounds like they're either A, asking you for money the way that a child asks for an allowance, or B, it'll be very easy to get into an argument of, let's cut that. Why do you need all that? What's it for? So really building the presentation around what's in it for you, whether it's someone pitching to you or let's say you're pitching to someone else or working it out, let's say like the CFO, you need to make sure that these resources have a story behind them, a persuasive story behind them.
因为有的时候我们常常会觉得我们的 proposal, it really makes sense to us. It should make sense to you. 所以我们会有一些 assumption 觉得说我们所做这些 presentation, 我们呈现这些数字其实都是很应该的. Like, you should already know this. But again, we do need to be more persuasive and have that story ready to go when you're presenting. So this month, we'll definitely explore on that. And it is also a reminder for us as well, because I think it's very easy to neglect that the fact that we also have to build a story around it, right? 你会觉得说这就是工作一部分嘛，我就把数字呈现给你就好了. You should get it. So 对我们来讲其实也是一个自我提醒.
And so let me give you a simple example of what the difference would be. Let's just say that next year that I want to register for a certain conference and sponsor it. And that conference is somewhere around $15,000 US. So if I just put that a line item in my budget and be like, ooh, I really want to go to this conference in Napa Valley. It's $15,000. We can sponsor it. I think we'll be able to meet a lot of good leads. Now, if someone just sees that line item, all they see is there's a $15,000 conference in Napa Valley. So the question is, what are you going to get out of it? Are you just going there to enjoy wine? And why are we sponsoring? Why are we not just attending? But let's say I tie that to a story where I say, okay, last year, one of our business development members was really, really interested in working with a premium luxury brand. And they went through all the channels on LinkedIn. They messaged almost everyone in that brand that they could find. They went through the contact list. And finally, after several hours spent like messaging back and forth, trying to find the right person, and weeks gone by of waiting for someone to message back, they just got rejected outright because it wasn't in the plan to use our solution until a few years later. Well, we went to a conference where one of their decision makers happened to be in attendance. And because we sponsored it and they were able to use our machine, that BD actually was able to build a contact with them early, found out that yes, their full plan that would use our solution won't happen until 2 years later, but we actually have a smaller solution that might fit them today. And they were able to get a meeting and close a contract, all because we went to this sponsorship program. So not only are we going to be able to do something in years down the road, we were able to build a pilot program so they could trust us. And that was all because they were able to talk to them face to face.
And on top of that, we can also include numbers, right? So maybe the percentage of the lead that you're able to get from these conferences or the increase of that, because we're going to more of these conferences. So you do have to give a projected numbers so that the CFO or whoever that see the number can actually go like, okay, that makes sense.
And you can even tie it to some kind of performance in terms of, okay, at these conferences, we have less overall leads, but there are higher quality decision makers or they're larger companies. On average, when we get a contract for one of these companies, it actually would pay for the conference 4 times over. So it's worth just even closing one contract, going to this conference and sponsoring it. So in this case, you can see again where budget goes from just simply something I report on paper to building a story why I want to do certain activities, and I can build in numbers to justify that process. This and other things we're going to talk about when it comes to planning, when it comes to performance review, when it comes to budgeting, where persuasion becomes so powerful from the art of storytelling. Join us this month, and we'll talk to you guys in our next episode.
Bye.
Bye.
The Executive Plus podcast is a Presentality Group production, produced and hosted by Sherry Fang and Nick Howard. You can search us on Facebook, 主管英文 Executive Plus. You can also find us on Instagram, Communication R&D, and email us at sherry@epstyleplus.com.